And it was incredibly thrilling because sometimes we would pop up, move like a little, I don't know, what do you call those, sewer caps over, and stick our heads out, and occasionally we almost got decapitated by a car coming by. Dungeons and Dragons emerged as a popular entertainment. So in I think it was 1980, 1981, my good friend Brian had gotten the basic set for Dungeons and Dragons. And Brian was the son of one of my father's high school, I don't want to say buddies, they went to the same high school, but we ended up going to the same grade school in middle school. So Brian invites me over to play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's this new game, you know. And it's weird because like the rules are totally different. The rules are about telling a story. It's not about winning. It's not about competing. It's about imagining. And of course, you know, parents have no idea, no concept of that. So thankfully, we had parents who allowed it and said it doesn't seem to be too harmful. But I remember we went through this phase in Dungeons and Dragons, and I lump this into my education because what I'm talking about right now has so much to do with what I'm doing in my life now. So we basically use the rules to create these amazing fantasy realities, and my other Dungeons and Dragons playing friends from the time, we always refer to these first explorations of Dungeons and Dragons as the impossible days, because we would create these extremely powerful characters that could like run off and, you know, basically defeat or charm gods from like the Norse gods to the Egyptian gods, and it was all kind of ridiculous. It's what a teen boy would want, you know. I control everything. I am the master. No one can tell me to do anything. I have powers unimaginable. But then it got boring, you know, because like, well, you know, I've charmed 8 gods. I have everything I could ever want. What more is there to do? So we kind of rebooted that somewhere in early high school. And high school was interesting because the core of us who met in middle school at the grade school I was in, the Catholic grade school I was in, we all kind of splintered to different high schools. Some went to public high school, some went to private high school, but still we would get together for playing Dungeons and Dragons. So we kind of doubled down on the rules after that and said, you know what, this is kind of getting boring. Let's see what happens if we actually kind of follow the rules and try and figure this out. And things got better. They were still kind of imaginative, and you know, we would be things that weren't necessarily like a human or a dwarf or an elf. We had the option of like, I wanted to be, you know, a brownie, some little magical creature from the forest, and I could play that character. But there were penalties. You know, we used a little bit more of the reality. But all this while, you know, we would also kind of escape and use this notion of going off on an adventure and dungeoneering in our real lives. So we started to get together on some weekends and not play Dungeons and Dragons, but stay up after dark, paint ourselves with black makeup and wear dark clothing. And since we were on the fringes of Milwaukee, we were in the suburbs, there were lots of rain drainage tunnels and sewers that we could go into. So that's what we started doing. We would make these ad hoc weapons out of like old broomsticks and nails and things like that. We would take shoe polish and like wipe it on our faces, and like, you know, we would take black t-shirts and tie them off so we had like ad hoc ninja masks, and we would run through backyards being like, you know, ninjas. And then go into this huge system underneath the suburbs of rain drainage tunnels, and just see what was down there. And it was incredibly thrilling because sometimes we would pop up, move like a little, I call those, sewer caps over and stick our heads out, and occasionally we almost got decapitated by a car coming by. But just the thrill of breaking the rules and also like walking through a dark tunnel like our characters did to get a feel for it, an actual physical feel, was really engaging. And also, it gave us like perspective and a better tools for creating narratives in that milieu.